determined to pay severance to workers who will be affected by a dissolution of the MNIB. We'll have details to this story and more in the National Report.
The Carriacou Carnival Committee presents Majestic Thursday. Majestic Thursday on February 16th at the Hillsborough Recreation Ground, 8 p.m. sharp. Come out in your numbers as 6 beauties will vie for the coveted crown. Marsha Blair, Miss Baltazar Grenada. Kiana Thomas, Miss Bogle. Kenesha Kojo, Miss BBH. Brianna Primus, Miss Six Roads. Michaela Gregg, Miss Pitty Martinique. And Renaya Alexander, Miss Lester. Admission, $40. Showtime, 8 p.m. Remember, it's Majestic Thursday, February 16th, 8 p.m. at the Hillsborough Recreation Ground.
With the details to the news for Monday, February 13th, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The operations of the Marketing and National Importing Board will be dissolved over the next 6 months, effective February 28th, to allow for the birth of a new entity in September. During a press conference at Parliament House on Monday, Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell said government will undertake the responsibility to pay severance packages to the 94 workers whose services will be terminated. Government will also assume liability for the over $15 million debt of the entity and appoint a technical working group to assist with creating the new entity. Prime Minister Mitchell explained that the board will focus on operations at the River Road facility as the main hub during the transition period. The board will also be responsible for the winding down of the entity from February into September 2023.
Between February and September, and if possibly sooner, the government will take a two-pronged approach to addressing the reform of the MNIB. The existing MNIB will be essentially wound down. The board will be responsible, the current board will be responsible for closing of MNIB outlets that do not need to be opened. We expect that the board will concentrate on the River Road facility and the packing house to continue servicing our farmers during the next 6 months. During that period, the board would be responsible for the management of the winding down of the MNIB operations. In addition to severing the staff and undertaking the liability to pay the staff, the government will also assume liability for the estimated $15.1 million of debt that the Marketing and National Importing Board is currently unable to pay. To that end, the Ministry of Finance will lead the negotiations with the third parties, including the banks and other third parties that Marketing Board is owing.
Government envisions that the new entity will attract public-private investment and focus heavily on storage, logistics, preservation, distribution, and importation of food and agro-processed goods.
The technical working group, therefore, will pay attention towards the creation. Essentially, their mandate will be to help government with creating the new entity. We anticipate that this will occur during the 6-month period while we are winding down the existing Marketing and National Importing Board. To do this, therefore, we had no choice but effectively to begin the process of bringing to an end the existence of the current Marketing and National Importing Board. It's a statutory body. It was created by legislation, and ultimately, at the end of the 6-month period, we expect that the MNIB Act will be repealed.
According to Prime Minister Mitchell, farmers will be able to sell their produce and do business with MNIB, which will be in a better position to make timely payments in the transition period. He said the board's mandate for the next 6 months is incur no liabilities, incur no losses.
They can continue selling to MNIB on the assumption that the MNIB can pay them. What the mandate to the board will be over the next 6 months is incur no liabilities, incur no losses. If the government is going to take over all of the existing debt of the MNIB, we are doing so, and we expect that in the 6 months while we transition, that the revenue derived from the operations of MNIB will meet its obligations to third parties. And so we expect, therefore, that certainly as of the 1st of March, when this becomes operational, that when farmers sell to MNIB, that MNIB should be in a position to pay them, because in effect, the only obligations MNIB will essentially have would be to these persons that it is buying produce from and the overheads associated with the purchase of and storage and eventual sale of the produce. The bulk of the staff will no longer be employed. Those outlets which are being rented from third parties will be closed, so you don't have rent payments and lease payments and additional overheads and so on to meet. So it should, in fact, put the farmers in a better position to be paid by MNIB during the 6-month period while we transition.
Government, through the Parliamentary Representative for St. George South and the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, is moving ahead with plans to restructure vending and other business operations at Wall Street in Grenada. A meeting was held recently with members of the Wall Street Food and Beverage Association to discuss avenues and opportunities for improving vending activities and the standard of operations. The area along the Grenada's main road sits in the tourist belt and has become a major form of attraction, entertainment and relaxation for locals and visitors. The intention is to implement more structures to generate more businesses and revenue. Parliamentary Representative and Minister for MIT, Honorable Andy Williams, explained the vision government has for the area.
As MP for the South, I'm not satisfied with the way Wall Street is going. And I think that if we are selling food in an area like that, number one, it has to be more pleasing to the eyes, and the conditions have to be better. So I met with everyone today, and we had a good meeting. And we agreed on the steps that we should take going forward to ensure that Wall Street is a better place to vend and for people to come and eat and so on. We are in the process of beautifying the Lagoon Road and attacking Wall Street at the same time. So we want to make Wall Street look, better. Look, when a tourist come, they should be wanting to come on Wall Street to see exactly what it's like. At the same time, we should aim at creating a better environment so that the other businesses that so on Wall Street, when they open their doors on a Saturday morning, it can be, more clean. And this is what we're trying to bring across.
President of the Wall Street Food and Beverage Association, Peter St. John, commends the government on its decision to initiate change. He's hopeful that a cleaner, more organized environment will attract more businesses and revenue for the country.
It's been years we've been waiting to get a permission at which the Wall Street Food and Beverages have that authority to choose and the right people with the right attitude and think for Wall Street, because we want to take Wall Street to the next level, a level that makes everyone in Grenada, any foreigner that comes in, should see Wall Street as the face of the island, because we are in the tourist belt. Wall Street is a place that, if you want a family out in the night after 10, you could come and get something. And plus, you want an environment that could enhance, a little activity, a little, just a good time out. And Wall Street is a place for it. We want a clean environment. We want an environment, the urinating, the lawlessness, the fighting, we want that out. Because you know what, if we have a place where people want to come and be together with the family, we don't want a bad environment.
The association's PRO, Christopher Augustus, is excited about the change that is on the way for the area.
We was very impressed with this meeting and with the administration, because for the past years, 18, 19 years, we're looking at that and we didn't get the opportunity. So now we get it, I feel very happy. I run a nice little barbecue business on Wall Street, I do very good, and I always praying to see Wall Street like Josie Lane in St. Lucia or Hyacinth in Barbados. And to be honest, it make me feel like we're getting there. So asking the public, they're going to see some changes to go forward as early as March. With the pissing, by the road, we have to stop it up. We're going to put the garbage bin, we're looking to have a permanent toilet, we're going to restructure the whole place. We want to paint it in the national color, red, green and yellow. And it's a lot, we have so much ideas for Wall Street. They don't want the public to feel that we don't concern about Wall Street. We concern a lot about Wall Street.
This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
My name is Travon Lead, and I'm a fisherman of Guam, St. John's. Well, I've been fishing for about 7 years, since I was about 16. And my father is a fisherman, and I grew up in that. I love to fish, and that helps to feed the community of wharf. Some of the challenges I faced before, I had a smaller boat and I used to row and fish. But now that I'm a successful applicant, I'm going to use the funds to buy a bigger boat and an engine, and that's going to benefit me and my family and to help others. It's a yes for sis.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell plans to raise the subject of visa-free access for Grenadians traveling to Canada with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who will be attending the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in the Bahamas. The 44th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM takes place in Nassau, Bahamas from the 15th to the 17th of February. Prime Minister Mitchell says with Grenada being a peaceful country, there is no justification as to why citizens should be subjected to acquiring a visa for travel to Canada.
We certainly feel that there's no justification for continuing to require Grenadians to get a visa to travel to Canada. In fact, I think from where we sit, I think that there's no justification for a Grenadian to get a visa to travel anywhere in the world, because we really do not think that our citizens pose any security risk, any social risk to anyone. For the most part, Grenadians either travel for leisure, tourism purposes, or they travel to study. Or they travel to work. And clearly, if they're traveling to work, they will only do so on proper documentation in the particular country in which they're going. So I don't think there's any. Grenada is not a place where people are persecuted. It's not a place where people are fleeing any political, social, or religious issues. We don't have an army. There's no risk of really, there's no political, social, or economic risk, I think, to any country posed by Grenada. And so we really don't think there should be any visa restrictions on our citizens, particularly to a former colony of the UK and a former member of the Commonwealth. So we certainly would be raising that issue with the Prime Minister of Canada.
Other matters for discussion will include the political, security and humanitarian assistance in support of the Haitian people, as well as discussions on the Citizenship by Investment program in regional territories. We
also will be, in fact, looking to lobby Canada and other countries so that they understand what our CBI programs are about, so that they can, in fact, help support the continuation of the programs and to push back against some of countries who may have a misconception about what the CBI program is about. So we would certainly be looking to get their support for that. We also would want to address with the Canadians the situation in Haiti. I started off by making reference to the fact that we currently have Haitians here that we are looking to send back. But the reality is, I think, as CARICOM, and given that Haiti is part of CARICOM, we have to accept that a sister nation of ours is in serious and dire straits, and it impacts the lives of the citizens, and you understand why citizens would want to move or leave Haiti. And I think, therefore, as a region, including Canada, the US, and CARICOM, we have to come up with solutions to address the migration situation that the challenge poses in Haiti, and ask whether or not there should or should not be a policy in place for us to receive some of the Haitians in our respective islands to assist our brothers and sisters in Haiti in the meantime. We are also aware that there are Grenadians who go to Canada to engage in short-term farming, particularly with things like the picking of apples and other produce and so on. So we certainly want to ensure that Grenadians continue to get those opportunities as well. While obviously tourism, the tourism market is another area that is of particular interest to us, between us and the Canadians. And so air travel is one of the challenges that we continue to face, and that is something we certainly want to look at to see how the Canadian government can help. And then finally, I would say technical assistance to help build our capacity in several areas that we believe the Canadians may be able to assist us with. So those are some of the issues we expect to raise with the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister Mitchell leaves on Tuesday for the 44th Heads of Government of CARICOM meeting. In his absence, Honorable Andy Williams will act as Prime Minister. The meeting will be held under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Honorable Philip Davis. Finally in the news, youth mentors, community associates and aspiring entrepreneurs are part of a 3-day workshop which commenced today at the Radisson Beach Resort. The workshop, which will run over the next 2 days, forms part of the Resilient Caribbean Grenadian Youth Empowered for the Digital World of Work in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture and the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. We get more in this June Paul report.
The training is part of the UN Joint Program for a Resilient Caribbean, engaging and training youth, strengthening integrated SP sector delivery that will be implemented in partnership with the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, the International Labour Organization, ILO, the UNESCO Cluster Office for the Caribbean, and the World Food Programme. Addressing participants at the opening ceremony at the Radisson Beach Resort, Assistant Coordinator of Youth, Colleen Perriman-Roust, expressed gratitude to UNESCO and other partners for seeing value and fostering resilience among our nation's youth through such opportunities.
With growing economic crisis promoted by COVID-19, inflation, entrepreneurship is an excellent way to attain sustainable livelihoods. Hence, it's an honor for the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, in particular the Division of Youth, to partner with UNESCO to bring this workshop to you to help facilitate your growth and development on this amazing journey called entrepreneurship and community leadership.
Perriman-Roust, in congratulating the participants in accepting the call, beseech of them to act as sponges, form networks and create partnerships.
We encourage you during the next few days to act like sponges. Soak up everything and leave the session free of any misconceptions in the areas that you're going to be taught in. Be bold as you wring yourself dry of any questions that you may have in this forum, big or small. Leave with a clean mindset to form networks and create partnerships with your colleagues here this morning, because you never know what ideas and opportunities you are currently laying dormant in right here in this room that needs to be woken up, to be put and realized into reality.
Participants in training will enhance their skills in being able to develop and assess the viability of new business ideas, effectively develop a business plan using the business model canvas, effectively market and pitch a business idea to customers, and develop leadership, communication, and problem-solving skills. The workshop concludes on Wednesday, February 15th, 2023, with a closing ceremony and certification presentation. Reporting for the National Report, I am June Paul.
Thank you, June. That story just ended the National Report for Monday, February 13th, recapping the top story. Government to pay severance to workers who will be affected by the dissolution of the MNIB. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us.